How many Master Masons know that there are Satanists among them?
I'd say the same figure I quoted earlier, 1 in 1,000.
Right.
Yeah, Mason Bible. Totally demonic.
So I got on eBay and got myself a Masonic King James Bible.
There's a Freemason insignia on the front.
But what really shocked me the first time I picked this up, Sun God, Ra, Amen.
But they do feature Egyptian gods and goddesses, which is kind of interesting because, you know, being Catholic, a Roman Catholic in my case, we're not taught that these gods exist, but they, you know, they clearly have them shown here. So
now just go to the pictures in the back. The Egyptian gods and goddesses. More Egyptian gods and goddesses.
Babylonian crap mixed in here.
I thought this was interesting. The soul revisiting the body.
Anya was rich enough to have a really awesome Book of the Dead, I guess.
There's an obelisk. Wow, that was Osiris's penis. That's
Worship for fertility.
phallic worship. Yeah.
Be able to share it with anyone that watches the video.
But then you flip to the back, and there's all this Egyptian, Babylonian account of the building of the walls and temples of Babylon.
Wanderus, the king of Babylon, on some kind of plate.
Now this belonged to Brother Edward Black. Was initiated November 10th, 36. He passed and then was raised.
And we'll see here, somebody had already been initiated, passed, and raised.
Where it was presented, on the date, so this would have been actually just about a year ago.
When you're doing the ceremony, you're asked, what do you seek? Light. And then the second degree, it's what do you seek? More light. And then the third degree, what do you seek? Further light. And they rise up through the degrees. And the hidden secret, which is revealed at the 33rd degree, is that the light you've been seeking all of this time is the light of the light bearer, Lucifer. See, they use this term, light, light, great light, all the way through. And the hidden secret which is not revealed until the 33rd degree, is what the light really is.
When you finally find out what the great light is, it is supposed to be that you're worshiping Satan the entire time.
Let's. Oh, look at this. From darkness to light. Check that out. Look. We have alchemy. Eastern Star. Baphomet.
And then we get page 33. The Holy Bible starts on page 33. Could that be a coincidence? The Holy Bible starts on the 33rd page of the Masonic Bible.
Most people think it's just a coincidence that Jesus is 33. Most people think it's a coincidence that the Freemason order goes up to 33 degrees. Most people think it's a coincidence that water is frozen at 32 Fahrenheit, but at 33 Fahrenheit, it's liquid. Most people think that's a coincidence. I don't. That's why we're not the same.
Wow, I forgot about the water. At 32, it's frozen. 33, it's a liquid. And
33 vertebrae in the spinal cord, too.
Remember the sitcom Married with Children from the 80s and 90s? Because I saw an ad last night that they're selling jerseys in the TikTok shop that he used to wear in that show. So I went and looked it up, and sure enough, that is the jersey he would always wear for Polk High, number 33. If you think it's a coincidence that he wore number 33, is it also a coincidence how in the show his last name is Bundy? Because Bundy is one of the 13 bloodlines. I'm gonna go ahead and cast my vote now that it's not a coincidence. Just like in the old show I Love Lucy, you of course had Lucy, you had Fred and Ethel, and let's not forget Ricky. Anyone who's familiar with the show, if you also recall, he used to say Babalu, because Babalu has to do with the Afro-Cuban religion, Santeria. When he would sing the song, he was paying a tribute to an Afro-Cuban god. Probably not her real name either, considering it's Lucy Ball. Lucy means light. Lucifer is known as the light bringer or light bearer. And although the spelling is different, you also have Ball. I'm gonna vote not a coincidence again on this one.
What are you talking about?
Well, when was the last time you people took a trip?
Well, we take trips. We go up to Raleigh every now and then. And we drove up to Asheville that time, remember?
When your cousin became a Mason.
The trip, Paul, can we? Can we be?
Well, it's entirely up to your father, dear.
Well, I suppose we could take a little of the money and take a little trip. Want to go over to Parkinson's Falls? It's nice this time of year, and Opie hadn't been there since he was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you want to drive up to Asheville again? See Cousin Evan Moore? He's a Grand Master now. Well, do you have any ideas?
And all the actors were high Masons. You take those early actors, Frank Sinatra, all of those that were involved in those movies, John Wayne, they were all 33-degree Freemasons. And if you follow it down through the line to this very day, most of the actors, I would say the great majority, if not all, of the major actors are all high Masons. All the singers, all of them.
In 1999, the Oscars was held at a building called The Shrine, which was founded by William Florence and Walter Fleming, two high-ranking Scottish Rite Freemasons. Hollywood has long been interested in Freemasonry. Gene Autry, John Wayne, Nat King Cole, Duke Ellington, C.C. DeMille, Clark Gable, Walt Disney, Oliver Hardy, you name it, the list goes on. Many celebrities have come out and admitted their connection to Freemasonry. In the book Morals and Dogma, written by Albert Pike, on page 321, Freemasons let us know exactly who their God is. It says, Lucifer, the light bearer, strange and mysterious name given to the spirit of darkness. Lucifer, the son of the morning. It is he who bears the light. And with its splendors intolerable, blinds feeble, sensual, or selfish souls. Doubt it not. When the movie Life is Beautiful was awarded at the Oscars, the camera quickly pulls back and shows a wide of the stage. When you pause it, you can see elements of Freemasonry built into the very set. If you look at a Masonic tracing board, a tool a Mason uses to teach and educate people involved in Freemasonry how to spot things that are connected to that organization, you can see the checkered floor, you can see the archways.
I have to probably say that I have major Masonic roots. I have never been part of a Masonic lodge.
Yeah, that's why you give the hand sign before you give the denial that you're a Mason, right? Here's the hand sign he's giving. In the Royal Master degree, in the die guard, placing the forefinger to the lip tells one's companion to keep silent about what he's about to say, that he is a Mason. So he denies that he's a Mason while he's giving the hand sign, right? Giving the hand sign first to keep silent of the fact that he is a Mason. And then comes the denial of the fact that he is a Mason.
I have never taken Masonic oaths or rituals.
Yes, but you gave the hush, silent hand sign to say that you are going to lie, to tell your quote-unquote bros that you're a liar.
A lot of my family, because Texas was pretty much Masonic through and through, was Masonic, high-level Masonic. And they were very, very good people. George Washington was a Mason.
You guys have any Masonic friends?
I do.
Okay.
And he told me that if I wanted to be a Mason, all I'd have to say is I'd like to be invited. So for me, I was like, well, how big of a secret society is it if I just got to ask?
He used a concealed camera. It was his iPhone in his shirt, and he documented 2 years. He had to hang out with them, go to dinners, hang out every week. For 5 years, he recorded it and exposed them. The higher you go, that you unlock the secrets, you find out that it's Satan. Baphomet. This is his words, not mine. He said that they have upside down stars. They have the Jewish star on the walls. So look at the handshake. Boom, boom, boom. 3 this.
Oh, Lord, my God. Oh, Lord, my God.
They're not talking about our God. That's a Masonic Bible. That's not our Bible. He has to kiss their Bible. Dude, you're not worshiping Jesus Christ. The God that they're talking about isn't the God that we're all talking about.
Yeah. We're both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go on.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322. You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322, a secret number? There are all kinds of secrets.
George are doing the hermaphrodite.
Yes, they are. And that's interesting. All of them are giving occultic secret society signs on Seinfeld. Seinfeld was a show that if you dissected would find incredible occultism and symbology, wouldn't you? Yeah. Here's Philip 66.
What I've discovered in realizing that they were practicing a Hebrew mysticism, the letter V in Hebrew is 6, right?
Oh yes, at the vowel. Yeah, that's correct.
Instead of So when you look at VW there, you actually see 2
very
V's,
interesting.
Right? W, which
and then,
I found the number 66 is the number of the fallen angels.
Wow.
And so W actually means the fallen angels in magic. In VW, he crossed the 2 V's, making 666 because he knew. And
incredible.
They realized that Hitler is practicing Hebrew magic, okay,
Yeah,
for a little bit. And it all goes back to these fallen angels.
It does indeed. The fallen angels that have taught these men these horrible things. Samael is a name for the devil. Lilith, by the way, is the consort of the devil. This is the mistress of the devil. There we have Baphomet, the horned god. Well, he's saying that's for the sign for W, but is it? I would think it's the unholy trinity. Here's simply the sign of the devil by Prince William. And this, oh my.
Self-made into an angel.
I understand.
The distinctive headgear that they wear, the fez, and we've seen all these at circuses, at parades. They come down the street on their motorcycles wearing their fez. Tell us, first of all, what is the Shriners, and what is the significance of that fez?
Well, you'll see the men in the shrine parades and the shrine circus wearing their red fez. In order to be a Shriner, you have to reach the highest degrees of Freemasonry, either the 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite or 13th degree of the York Rite, and then you're allowed to go into the shrine. And sadly, many Christians have gone into this, which is hard to understand, because in order to be a Shriner, in the initiation, every Shriner takes a blood oath of allegiance to Allah as his God and Muhammad as his prophet.
Now, are you kidding me?
No. But you swear allegiance that Allah is your God, Muhammad is your prophet. You are then given this red fez with the Islamic sword and crescent encrusted in jewels on the front of it. And you'll see men wearing this. And people say, well, why do they wear the red fez? It is because if you study history, during the 7th and 8th century, as the Muslims swept across North Africa, they came to Fez, Morocco. And in Fez, Morocco, there was a large community of Christians. And Muhammad had ordered the slaughter of all the infidels, meaning Christians, who would not bow down to Allah and Muhammad as the prophet. And the Muslims went in with the Islamic sword, and there in Fez slaughtered thousands of Christians. And then they took their Fez hats, and they dipped it in the blood of Christians, glorying in the defeat of Christianity. And that's why the fezes are red, representing the blood of Christians defeated by the Islamic sword, which they have encrusted in jewels on the front. And there are Christians who walk around wearing this hat, and Dave, to be honest, it's an abomination in the eyes of God.
Conspiracy theory. You are probably familiar with this gesture. It can be found in films and is often shown by famous people. This gesture can often be found on monuments. But what does it really mean? The roots of this sign go back to the bad guy.
McDonald's having a big M and them symbolizing the big M. I didn't think that was a big deal. Why would I? Or Marathon gas station or M&M's candy. I didn't think that was a big deal. Why would I? As I, started looking into numerology, I understood that M is 13, and that signifies homage to the 13 bloodline Illuminati families. It's all over the place. Go on your computers and put in all the movies that start with 13. 13 Warriors, 13 Ghosts. It's like 30 of them. Then start looking at Ladder 49 or 6 Days, 7 Nights. This is a joke. I already mentioned the sports teams, the 76ers, 76, 13, 49ers. So it's all over if you look at it. And the system that's always in the court system, always in religion, always in astrology, it's all the same. It's 12 plus 1. 12 jurors, 1 judge, legally. Religious. Jesus, 12 apostles. Astrology, sun, 12 signs. Come on. It's everywhere. What do you think, this is a coincidence? They have enough up here to understand this is not a coincidence. That tells you people who know a lot more than you, if you mind be honest with yourself, are actually using this stuff. Start asking yourself why, start getting curious, and then things might start coming together for you.
What is Freemason?
Masonry is like an open society, right? Open society, but it's veiled in secrecy, and they only reveal the truth to the higher ranking ones. But really, it's a Protestant arm of the Jesuit Liberal Order of the Vatican, and it comes from Jewish mysticism and Kabbalah, witchcraft, stuff like that. And it pretty much reverse engineers the Bibles, its rituals, its oaths, and it encompasses all ancient religions of antiquity, all pagan star systems, Star of Remphan, Moloch, and everything they pray to. And really, it boils down to Osiris, right? They're obsessed with Egypt, and that's why they wear an apron to hide the generative principle, right?
Okay,
that's
so
people out here want to know on the song Freemason, was that a Masonic song for the brothers out here?
It was just a record that was for people who understood it, you know what I'm saying, and love music at the same time. You know
okay. Are you a Mason?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Hey, are you a Mason?
No.
Andrew Tate is not on your side. Top G. G is the Masonic G, and he's always doing the Masonic hand mudra. He tweeted, "I have 33 cars for the 33 levels of Freemasonry." His dad was in the CIA. They won't just let anyone in the CIA. You more than likely have to be a Mason. He said he was a Grand Master. Well, that's another word for a 33rd degree Freemason. The chessboard is the Masonic checkered board. He's telling you to chase money to get out the matrix. Money is the only thing keeping you enslaved to this matrix system. He's not waking you up spiritually. You are not even the body, people. This is what you need to realize. Link is in the bio for the YouTube and the Manifestation Mastery course.
In Freemasonry in Europe, the groups were called circles, and you had your circle of friends. There were 5 circles of friends, America being one of them. Italy, France, Germany, England, and America. The 5 circles of friends. In the European Freemasonry, the Olympiads. So that today, the Olympiad organization symbol is 5 circles, the 5 Masonic circles of friends. Of course, the Audi has only 4 circles because America's not included in that project. The torch, of course, the Olympic torch is the torch of Prometheus, the god who stole fire for the service of man. And as we said in New York, in front of Rockefeller Plaza, you'll see the statue of Prometheus. In his hand is a flame, the torch, the fire of revolution. All universities and colleges, we find in their symbols and emblems of universities have torches standing for illumination of the Illuminati. Of course, when you go to college and university or even graduate from high school, you come out with as we said, a black robe, which is black for Saturn, the god of Hebrews, and the square mortarboard. The square mortarboard is, of course, Freemasons use mortarboards for their plaster.
So how do you let someone know that you're a Master Mason if they can't read? Well, the answer is simple. You walk into the job site, you say, I'm a Master Mason. You can either use some of these little handshakes, or you can simply do this. You go like this, and the guy knows you're a Master Mason. And that's all there is to it. You got the job. Just as good as a dues card. Now here's another question. It's more contemporary. Let's say your boss is a Mason. Let's say that you're up for a promotion, and the guy that's competing with you for that promotion is a Freemason. Who do you think is going to get that job? I'll give you a clue. It ain't going to be you. Another thing that Masons do is they use the lodge to network. And this is especially the case with doctors and lawyers. Because doctors and lawyers, it used to be, their codes of ethics would not allow them to advertise. I know all of you are probably sick of seeing commercials for lawyers now. But, you know, back in my day, when I was, say, maybe 20, 25 years old, lawyers were not allowed to advertise. And so the only way they could advertise was through the lodge or through similar fraternal organizations. They would develop networks, and that's how they would get referrals.
That all federal, state, and local judges are members of a certain obscure sect of the Freemasons.
Now, hold on. Our strategy is that all judges are Masons?
Well, there's more to it than that.
Like what?
Well, there's a secret Masonic word which, when uttered, obligates judges to rule in your favor. Then they have to go paddle each other off in a secret cave somewhere. Mr. James.
Come on, Joe, give it up.
Tubal Cain.
Tubal Cain?
Sorry. Tubal Cain? What the hell does that mean? I have no idea. The master builder awaits the pyramids.
I beg your pardon?
I bet you do.
Do you have anything to say in your defense?
Tubal Cain?
I hereby find in favor of the guy with the court adjourned.
Christian by degrees, Masonic religion revealed in the light of the faith in Jehovah, testament for a new world, given to us being the 7 books containing essential spiritual wisdom, given to us by the Knights Templars. The table of contents reveals the Book of Jehovah and the Book of Jehovah's Kingdom on Earth, Jehovah's Kingdom on Earth with the Knights Templar emblem. we see that Jehovah's kingdom on earth is nothing more than a Masonic kingdom, like the British United Kingdom. Jehovah's Witnesses, along with the Mormon Friends, Seventh-day Adventists, and as we said, all the other York Rite Masonic cults in America are spreading. They are the shock troops, so to speak, for Freemasonry, to take the message of the kingdom to the rest of us in this nation to accept their Masonic kingdom. And they, unbeknownst to themselves, are the forerunners for a new world order that they have no idea in this world is coming.
But what is that? What does that mean?
You, sir, have found a Freemason sword or sabre, and that inscription on the hilt is Latin. What virtue has joined together, death will not separate. Also known as a Masonic sword, part of the Freemason or Mason community. It usually meant something along the lines of honor, value, and dignity. I don't know a lot about the Freemason community, but I'm guessing they might want that back at some point.
I'm going to post this today because I'm a little annoyed. I somehow had a page show up on my FYI this morning where this gentleman was spreading lies, misinformation about the Masonic Lodge. And when I piped in and gave him the truth, he blocked me off. Here's the reality, folks. In order to be a Shriner, you have to be a 32nd or 33 degree Mason, okay? My father, my grandfather, and my great-grandfather were all 33 degree Masons. Let me start off by saying my grandfather and great-grandfather do not fall into this category. But my father and every Mason I've met since then falls into the category I'm going to talk about. Along with my grandmother, who was an Eastern Star, who falls into this category as well, okay? Everything that I have been through, everything that I have seen, everyone I have interacted with, every book from the Masonic Lodge I've ever read, all their little secret books I have, because my dad was killed in 2008. So I have a lot of stuff that probably shouldn't have, but I have it, and I'm going to keep it, okay? They actually do not believe in God. They worship Satan. And these people that are on, they're trying to tell you that that's not true. It's 100% true. Do your research. Also, they monster animals. They monster children. They abuse their women and children. They're alcoholics. They're cheaters. They're demonic. Okay? I know that because I'm a victim of that since I was at the age of 3. My dad was a Shriner clown. My dad was very prominent in the West Coast Shriners and the Masonic Lodge. My grandmother was an Eastern Star, very much involved in the same thing. They tried to indoctrinate me by putting me in Job's Daughters. That didn't work. So they tried to indoctrinate me by putting me in the Rainbow Girls. That didn't work. They tried to indoctrinate me by getting me to date a DeMolay boy. That didn't work. I wasn't falling for any of this. I'd already been through all of the abuse, the mistreatment, and all of the rest of it. I have seen it all. My dad was murdered in 2008. And at his funeral was half Masonic, half military. I have never seen anything in my life that was more disgusting than the Masonic service. Talking about how pure and amazing and wonderful this person was. Really? When everyone that was there that did the service knows my father and knows what he did to me and knows the kind of person he is and the kind of person they are, because they're doing the same thing. Every one of them. There wasn't one of them that was there that doesn't have a family member that's had the same outcries that I have. So you can block me off of your page. I don't really care. You can block me off your lives. I really don't care about that either, because I'm going to always speak the truth. I am a victim of the Masonic Lodge. I am a victim of the Shriner Clowns. I am a victim of the Masons. And they are satanic. They are horrible people. And they hurt their family and their children. And if you don't like what I'm saying, that's fine. I don't care. I got the receipts. All of them. So block me off your page. Tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. And you know what? I could tell you who my father is. And I could tell you the 3 lodges that are involved. And I could tell you the 250 Masons that are involved. But you know what? Believe what you choose to believe. But the Masonic Lodge is satanic. They have satanic rituals. And their families are victims. I said what I said. Have a good day.
Denver, Colorado is home to America's largest airport called the Denver New World Airport. The airport was built by Freemasons in 1995 and features a Freemasonic dedication capstone in the atrium. A time capsule is buried underneath the stone to be opened in the year 2094. The New World Denver Airport has a swastika-shaped runway. There is reportedly a deep underground military base beneath the airport, with miles and miles of secret subterranean tunnels connected to a large network of underground cities. As passengers drive up to the main airport terminal, they are greeted by a sinister-looking 32-foot-high fiberglass blue stallion, with veins popping out of its body and demonic eyes that glow bright red. Not exactly a calming influence for travelers who are already spooked about getting on a plane. The sculpture is believed to symbolize the pale horse of the apocalypse mentioned in the Bible, whose name is Death. The sculptor, Luis Jimenez, was killed by the horse when a chunk of the sculpture broke loose and came crashing down on him. Locals call the horse Blucifer. Inside the airport, travelers hurry past grotesque gargoyles in suitcases that leer down at them, and morbid apocalyptic murals that line the airport walls at the main gate. 4 panels of giant-sized wall murals in the baggage claim area tell a terrifying and prophetic story in pictures of how humanity's future is going to unfold. The first mural reveals a horrific Darth Vader-like figure wearing a Nazi general uniform and a gas mask. The gas mask indicates that the next war will use depopulating biological or chemical agents. The white dove that he is killing symbolizes peace. On the right are destroyed buildings reminiscent of the Twin Towers. The Nazi general's scimitar sword has been swished through the air, leaving behind a rainbow chemtrail that poisons the air and ethnic population below it. On the left is an endless line of weeping women refugees holding dead babies. There is no trace whatsoever of violence to the dead children, who appear to have died from the deadly gas of the toxic rainbow. Why are there no men present? Presumably, they have all been killed. The Nazi general's scimitar sword that destroys peace is a symbol used by the Shriners, who are Freemasons. Freemasonry is a fraternity within a fraternity. Outwardly, it is a friendly charitable organization that conceals an inner brotherhood of the 33rd degree elect. The next airport mural shows a forest and a city in flames. The world's endangered animals and plants are extinct: buffaloes, whales, leopards, elephants, and sea turtles. The sickly haze and leaping flames suggest a nuclear or biochemical devastation. Children are the only survivors, and they are weeping over 3 open caskets of an African girl on the left, a native girl in the center, and a white Judeo-Christian girl on the right. They represent the death of the old black, red, and white root races to make way for the New World race. The dead white girl in the coffin holds a Bible and a yellow Juden star, which was used by the Nazis to identify Jews. It symbolizes the death of Judeo-Christian beliefs. Another child holds a Mayan tablet depicting the end of the Mayan calendar and the end of the world as we know it. In the third mural, the apocalyptic war has ended. Children of all nations are joyfully giving up their nation's sovereignty to the blonde-haired, blue-eyed German boy at the center. They are all turning over their weapons wrapped in their country's national flag to the German boy. The Bavarian jacket leaves no doubt whatsoever that the blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy is German. He symbolizes the Bavarian Illuminati. With an iron fist, the German boy destroys the weapons of war symbolized by the Nazi general's sword. The German boy uses a hammer, which symbolizes the hammer and sickle of communism. In the foreground, the Nazi general is dead, with doves of peace perched on his corpse. The German boy symbolizes a world leader and savior who brings peace through communism to a devastated world. Who is this boy that the world gives up their flags and weapons to? We know he is German, with blonde hair and blue eyes, like Prince William, who posed as a boy for this Papua New Guinea stamp. Prince William's father is the son of Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth, whose surnames were changed to cover up their German identities. Prince William's mother, Diana, was allegedly the daughter of James Goldsmith, a German Jew. In the fourth mural, the earth is restored, including the endangered species, the land and water. This future world is populated not by adults, but by parentless children. What happened to the adults? The children are in a dance line that is led by the Scottish boy, who symbolizes Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Also, on the far left is an African woman carrying a snake banner. The parentless children of the world are celebrating the New World religion as they gather around and touch the light of Lucifer, who appears as a genetically engineered plant. The plant is a floral version of the colorful bird known as the Quetzalcoatl, or feathered serpent. It is symbolically inseparable from the morning star and Lucifer. The main theme of the Denver New World Airport murals is an apocalypse, with massive depopulation, extinction of species, the death of Judeo-Christian beliefs, and the birth of one world government, one world ruler, and one world religion.
These people are full of the devil. These people can't even be reasoned with. These are not people that you can talk to, and they already have given their soul to the devil. Are you with me? These people go through seances. These people drink blood. These people sacrifice children. Somebody said they don't do that. They sacrifice children at the highest levels. In Hollywood, they drink blood of young kids. This is a fact. That's why the next thing to be exposed will be all the pedophilia that's going to come out of Hollywood and come out of Washington, D.C. The human sacrifice and the cannibalism has been going on for years. Somebody said, oh, they don't do that. It's worse than what you think. You remember when the whole spirit cooking thing came out? That's commonplace, ladies and gentlemen. And many of the Hollywood actors that you go see on a screen, what you don't know, they bring a witch. They do a big seance right there on the set, and they worship devils, and they allow devils to come into them before they take the part of what they're going to act. It's a fact what I'm telling you.
Talking gargoyle at the Denver airport that says,
"Welcome to Illuminati headquarters. Denver International Airport."
Looking into the Denver airport, a list of strange occurrences come to light. The airport went $2 billion over budget. There are gargoyle statues all over the airport. There are weird murals all over that seem to paint a future dystopian situation. There's a time capsule with the Freemason symbol engraved into it, and there's even a 30-foot tall blue horse named Lucifer. This is called karmic retribution, which means as long as they tell you what they're doing, it's okay because you didn't do anything to stop it.
According to the reference works, there is a little spiritual entity that guides the world of Freemasonry, and they call him Yoda. And in the reference works, you'll see this little creature with the pointed ears, and he's called Yoda. Yoda goes back to Judah, which goes back into British Israel World Freemasonry, going back to the time of the founding of England, and that's why they're today called British. The British, it's a very big difference between being English and British. Brit is Hebrew for contract or a covenant, and ish means man in Hebrew. Therefore, British is the covenant man or man of the new
we're talking
covenant.
about Star Wars.
So we're talking about Star Wars. We're talking
and
about
the evil empire.
The Empire Strikes Back. And with the Empire striking back, New York is the Empire State. We're talking about the new empire of New World, America, striking back at Europe in 2 world wars to overthrow the old Roman dynasties in Europe to take over the world. So what?
The Great Seal. First thing you want to look at is the back of the US dollar bill. Right off top, you see the Illuminati all-seeing eye. This is claimed to be the Eye of Providence, which translates to the Eye of God. But this is the Eye of Horus, or what I refer to as the Eye of Lucifer, the Lightbringer. Illuminati, Enlightened Ones. Lucifer, the Light Bearer. You can see how those go together. Above the eye is the phrase, Annuit Coeptis. The official translation as given by the U.S. State Department, U.S. Mint, and U.S. Treasury is He has favored our undertakings. When they say He, they imply God, but not the God most people think. The God they're referring to is none other than the God of this world, according to the Bible. Satan, Lucifer. Call it what you want. Argue if it's real or not. But this is what they believe, and if they don't, they sure do a fantastic job at putting on extremely intricate and massive rituals all the time in his honor. From award shows.
So consequently, Jehovah's Witnesses, like most cults, and they are, incidentally, they are referred to as York Rite cults in Masonry. York Rite cults. This is why the Watchtower Society moved to New York. New York is the old York, England, and the presence of the Knights Templars of old York, England moved into America and called it New York. And they called New York the Empire State. Why? Because it's the state of the new York Rite Masonic Empire coming out of York, England, and establishing their filthy, dirty system in our beloved country in New York. There is nothing dirtier or filthier on the earth, in my present opinion, than New York City. It's only topped by the Vatican. Somebody needs to do their homework. Charles Taze Russell was financed out of London, England. The money was coming out of MI5 and MI6. The Mormon Church, Seventh-day Adventist, the Worldwide Church of God, all of these are referred to as York Rite cults, financed, organized, directed out of London.
Grandmaster Hiram F., I'm glad to meet you. Give me the secrets of a master mason, or I will take your life.
This is no time or place to demand no secrets.
Talk to me about time, place, nations, or the completion of the temple. Give me the secrets of a master mason, or I will take your life.
It behooves you in this rude and violent manner thus to demand no secrets. When the temple's completed, if found worthy, you'll then receive them lawfully as I have.
You have passed Jubilum. Me you cannot pass. My name is Jubilum, well known for my determination of character. What I undertake, that I do. Give me the secrets of a master mason instantly, for I will take your life.
I will not.
What? Still persist? Then die.
The Lord used this to explain the Grand Master Iron Bill.
This is no time for reflection. What shall we do with the body?
This man grills a 32nd degree Freemason, asking him who his supreme authority is.
There's no way you believe in fraternity over truth. As a Christian,
that's why I joined, to get the truth, because everyone.
Do you think you found it? That's a no.
No.
That's a no. That's a no.
You went through 32 degrees, you haven't found anything?
Bro, I'm telling you, 32 degrees is not as impressive as
But on the 30th, 31st, 32nd, 33rd, you guys adhere to a supreme authority named Lucifer on page 321 of Morals and Dogma. Admit it.
They definitely.
Who's they? You mean you guys?
Yeah.
So is Lucifer your supreme authority and you call Jesus Adonai your second in command?
No.
Or no, you guys see it as a dualistic standing on your square, black and white, yin and yang, Adonai and Lucifer. Is Lucifer your supreme authority?
He's real with you. Yeah, no, not me.
No?
Not me.
So Albert Pike was lying? Your supreme authority was lying?
Albert Pike. Well, Albert Pike's not supreme authority.
He's the Pope of Masonry.
Bro, yeah.
Who are we going to go by? We're going to go by Shaq the Freemason?
Are you going to...
There's 500 pages of you guys saying Freemasonry is a religion. There's over 500 pages. Albert Pike has 80 pages saying it is a religious practice. So if it's not ending in amen or Jesus' name, who the fuck are you praying to?
That's a very good question, Zerka. So here's a misconception with Masonry. A lot of people think that it's a religion. It's not. However, you do need to believe.
Hold on, it's not?
It's not.
So there's an initiation
it's
and a ritual.
You do need to believe in a singular higher power. Yeah. So that could be Jesus, that could be God, that could be
Allah.
Yep.
They just need an architect.
Yeah. So
they need to worship somebody.
And
they just gotta worship,
and
right?
In all fairness, it could be Satan. Like it could be anyone, as long as you have somebody at the end of the day to answer to. Because what's an oath? What's a promise?
But that's the thing. What other institution will have you do rituals and initiation?
If you don't believe in anything,
yeah, exactly. But check it out.
With the atheists,
what
let's
other?
Say you didn't believe in anything. You're an atheist. You make an agreement with me. You back out on that. There's no
fear.
Answer to.
There's no fear.
There's no fear in God.
Okay.
Well,
Albert Pike, your grand wizard, highest authority, said, if you're an atheist, the vacuum in your mind that does not occupy God will occupy veganism, liberalism. You will obsess over so you'll make something into your religion. That's why it's so dangerous. But what other social club, if you want to just call it a social club, has rituals and initiations? Only religious temples have this.
Yeah.
So you admit you're a religious temple.
Knights.
That's why you guys are called a Masonic temple.
I mean, Knights of Columbus has very similar initiations.
So are you a religious group or not?
No.
But you just admit you do rituals. What?
We're a fraternity.
How can you be a fraternity?
Doesn't college fraternities have rituals?
They got rituals.
They have
the Hayes people. Those are considered rituals.
Rituals towards God on an altar? No, they don't.
We're not talking about God.
You have the Bible on the altar, right?
It depends on their faith, but yeah, it's usually the Bible.
Wouldn't you say you're perverting the Bible? Because if you have a Muslim and a Buddhist in your lodge, you're not giving them truth. You're giving them your guys' motto, fraternity over truth. Meaning, don't talk about religion in the lodge. That's what you guys say? Meaning, don't talk about the truth. Don't talk about Jesus in the lodge. Which building is Jesus not allowed to be talked about? That's Jesus' building. Jesus can be talked about in any building. If you guys have fraternity and brotherhood over truth, then that is the highest level Satanism I've ever heard about. Think about that. That means be friends with that Muslim in the lodge. He'll make you billions of dollars. Just don't talk to him about his religion and don't talk to him about Christ. Don't save his soul. Just go make money with him. You guys are like the highest level Jews. Think about it.
It is the Old Testament.
But how do you sit in a lodge and say, I'm not allowed to talk about Jesus as a Christian, and you find that okay?
Well, when you're in lodge,
a gleaming gem of white marble and gold, hidden in the deserts of Central Asia, the capital of Turkmenistan, Ashgabat. As strange of a Ferris wheel as this is, even more so a strange-looking TV station. You will find these strange, yet repeating cymatic-like pattern in all of this city's beautiful architecture, looking like it was plucked straight from the Star Wars universe. Let's take a closer look at the largest of its kind enclosed Ferris wheel. Those that have ridden on it says the enclosed design makes for quite the lacking view. But that's because I believe it wasn't just made for its view. Not only do you have that same repeating cymatic pattern, take a look at the top of this Ferris wheel, like the all too familiar antennas from the old world photos. I believe it and all this other beautiful architecture you see scattered throughout this amazing city is all part of a true ether, free energy grid, like this building from above called the Palace of Happiness. You see those same repeating patterns laid out with such precision, and all of this in a city that is nearly completely empty. If you look in all of these shots, you see very little cars, very little people. Yet those same repeating patterns in a grid even on the light post. A city empty like this should be ripe with tourists, but in fact it's one of the least vacation spots in the world. But according to our ever-trusting mainstream media, it's a country ran by a dictator that built this city up for his own ego. But with most all Western media, including social media, banned from Turkmenistan, very little is known about this mysterious city. But as I say, I believe it's a city built with tech from the old world, hidden away in the desert. Question everything, friends. Until next time. If you remember my previous videos on this beautiful yet mysterious country, Turkmenistan, you should totally go back and check them out. But if you remember, one of the strange things about this country is just how hard it is to vacation there. But here's a video of somebody actually getting to travel there and sharing his unique experiences. Let me know what you think.
This is the strangest country in the world. There are no people around anywhere. The city is full of these crazy lavish monuments. There is no traffic. Malls, hotels are all empty. So the question is, where is everyone? This is the country of Turkmenistan, and after visiting more than 130 countries, this place is unlike anywhere I've ever been. The president requires all buildings and cars to be white. Tourists who do visit are under strict requirements to have a guide with you at all times, and are banned from visiting certain places in cities. Most websites and apps are banned, and Wi-Fi is pretty much non-existent. Every single activity we did, we were the only ones there, including this popular swimming hole and even the famous gas crater. We were the only ones who stayed at this awesome yurt camp. The airport is full of security guards, but for what? It's empty. Restaurants and streets, all the same. There are some camels around though. The locals I did meet were super friendly and welcoming. This place fascinates me and I've loved my time here so far, but the truth is there's just sort of a weird and eerie feeling you have when visiting here that's hard to explain.
Does the Holy Bible mention that this winged lion represents the beast? It sure does. It sits right in front of the UN Plaza at 666 United Nations Plaza. But the devil is always in the details, and that little logo right there at the top of the screen, that's next on the trumpet. This is the UN logo, and it's comprised of 33 segments that are joined together that form this flat earth, and then it's wrapped by the acacia leaves. Everything the UN does is going to be under that big flat earth logo right there. And in New York City, their address is 666 United Nations Plaza. Let's see how many times I can say 33. The Tower of Babel is at the 33rd degree parallel. Mount Hermon is where the fallen angels descended to earth. Mount Hermon is at 33 degrees right there. Where the fallen angels came to earth, that's mentioned right there in the book of Revelation, chapter 12. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. 1/3 is equal to 33.3%. It makes you wonder why the United Nations has a permanently manned location right on top of Mount Hermon. Well, you knew that was coming. Hey, look, I got 33 buttons all the way down my front. Me too! In their logo, they have 2 sprigs of acacia right here. And what's the Masonic significance?
Can't make this shit up, guys. They're right here. Look at that. No windows. The whole building. No windows, guys. Can't make this shit up. No windows. No windows everywhere, guys. All around the building, no windows. They're doing something here, guys. Why do you think they have no windows? Sus, guys.
Welcome back to The Trumpet, and here's some more truth about the Freemasons. So we've already talked about the Shriners right here for a little bit, and now I'm going to connect the Shriners to the Eastern Star. And I'm not picking on these guys in particular, but they evidently just let some kid put their stuff on social media and didn't really realize what he's doing. And in this club, all these Masons and the Monopoly Man are meeting underneath the Eastern Star. The Eastern Star is a 5-sided star facing down. That means it's a pentagram. Sort of looks like a goat with the ears when you do it like that. In the middle of it, there's an altar with the Bible on it, as though it's to be sacrificed. And around it are the letters F-A-T-A-L, fatal. And their temple is not in this big building right here. It's in this house. Here's a copy of one of the invitations to join the club. That small print right there says the club as everyone sees it. A nominal fee of $1 per year is all that is required for membership. It is a delightful place at all times for pleasure, companionship, and recreation, complete with billiard and card tables in the lodge. And of course, every fraternity of men with billiard tables and card tables needs a nice ladies' room for their comfort, with a bed in it. And the widow's son is the man from Tyre that built Solomon's temple. If you're a Freemason, a Master Mason, or even a Shriner, this next tick is probably not going to be for you. I'm going to tell my people and my followers all about you. My name's the Trumpet. I'm Ezekiel 33:3. That scripture says, when I see the sword fall upon the land, I blow the trumpet, warn the people. And I'm going to use scripture straight out of the Holy Bible in the sign right on your front door to show my followers how y'all have been trying to infiltrate the church since David. If you go to Google Earth and type in the Savannah Cotton Exchange, it'll take you right to the front of the Freemasons Hall right here, the Savannah Cotton Exchange. Let me take you right down to that sign right there on the front. Solomon's Lodge number 1, free and accepted Masons, and that's in 1734, before we were even the United States. The sign across from the front door says that General James Edward Oglethorpe was their first worshipful master. He's found in Savannah, Georgia. And on that second paragraph down there, it says that it's the oldest continuously operating lodge in the Western Hemisphere. I was born and raised in Savannah, and my stepfather was a Master Mason. All he left my mother was these 40 years worth of diaries and a couple of little documents that aren't worth anything. Let me show you through some of these papers what I've learned about the Freemasons. That sign that I just read from is right there outside of the picture. And this statue...
Smart woman. She's putting a new floor down by herself. Wise woman. She's using Kentile vinyl asbestos tile. Easiest flooring to install, easiest flooring to care for. Save every way with Kentile vinyl asbestos tile.
And it's only when you get up to the 30th degree, which is 3 steps from the top, that you're actually told that you worship Lucifer. So they deliberately lie to their people in the lower levels. And they're sort of told they've reached the pinnacle of the lodge. But if you look at a structure plan of how they're set up, you'll realize you're barely up to the floorboards and hardly out of the basement. And as you go through all of these other degrees, I can think of a friend of mine who used to be a Knight Templar. So that's about the second highest level that you can reach in most of the Western world. He learned that he had to break 5 of the 10 commandments in order to reach that degree. So if you're going to go and do that, you're actually going to end up with God as your enemy.
You haven't gone through all the degrees yet. And I can assure you that even if you're a 33rd degree Freemason of the Scottish Rite, there are degrees over you. For beyond that degree, they disappear behind what is called the veil. See, I know more about your order and your lodge than most of you ever will if you live to be 210. You don't even understand most of your own ceremonies. You just go through them because that's what you got to do to get the next degree and be loved by your brothers. You are part of a subversive organization that is destroying this country from within. You see, this country is not being destroyed by some invading army. It's being destroyed exactly as our forefathers said could be the only way that it would be destroyed, and that is from within. Most of the people who have had a hand in the destruction of this great nation have been Freemasons, members of the Rosicruci, members of the Knights of Malta, the Golden Dawn, Templi Ordo Orientalis, and I could go on and on and on. B'nai B'rith, that's a biggie.
How many Master Masons know that there are Satanists among them?
I'd say the same figure, 250,000, 1 in 1,000.
Right. Since Catholics are strictly forbidden to be Masons, why were you being asked to do two opposite things?
What people don't realize is that the Catholic Church helped start the Masons. And that, for example, the Scottish Rite, most of the degrees in the Scottish Rite were written by Jesuits. So even though there is this apparent antipathy between the Masons and the Catholics, to the point that up until John Paul II's reign, if you became a Mason, you were Roman Catholic, you were de facto excommunicated, just like that. But actually it's all a sham, because most of the high level of people in the Vatican are all Freemasons, and many of the people that are Freemasons are Catholics.
Hey guys, Kendra here. I just came into this little chapel inside of a Catholic hospital to pray, and I just noticed some things that kind of caught my attention. So I've been studying about the occult symbolism and Masonic symbolism and how to spot this stuff. This is on their brochure. And then really what caught my eye is I'm coming in and they have this really ornate like wall like carved out in their walls. And I come over here and I don't know if you notice anything, but I'm learning so much, and looks kind of suspect to me. If you know what that means, I'm gonna put it at the end of the video. So, and here you have this star, which now we're learning is they use in occultism and Freemasonry. And there's of course the pyramid. Then you have the light bearer on that. You can see the torch in the middle. Really been studying all of these different denominations and religions, and you know, just letting the Lord open my eyes to it all. You know, we've been deceived on such a grand scale, and it's time to open our eyes, you know. So I pulled up some signs of the occult, so you can see this was on the brochure, and this of course right here was on the wall. There's a star. Here represents the Baphomet, and there is another star. If you really blow it up, you can see more of the symbolism on there. This red cross right here was on this hospital's personal like flag, and this is a Knights Templar. They're in Freemasonry, and if you can, I'm trying to show you the tie between the Catholic Church and the religion to the Freemasons. This is all, it's all in the symbolism. Here's the Catholic priest in their robes. This ties the this is a hospital logo. It's all tied to it's like Greek gods. Like the symbolism is right in our face, and then you've got the wings that are tied to Freemasonry. So this was the logo I was showing you in the video. You can read what that represents. So if you're still on the fence about Catholicism and you don't believe anything I just said, I ask everyone to pray. You know, I always tell people, don't listen to people's, opinion or this or that, but always take it to the Father yourself. You don't need a priest, you don't need an intercessor. Your personal self can go straight to the Father and ask him, and he will show you. He'll find a way. He speaks to you. He speaks to all of us. He's always listening to us. So I just ask you guys to pray about this. Satan doesn't care if we go to church. He just wants to make sure that we are not on that narrow path that will lead us to heaven. And so anyway, I love you guys and hope you have a great rest of your week.
Freemasons always place the east at the top of their artwork and the north and south on the sides. This is because they understand the true cosmology of this realm, but you don't. North is the center of this realm. This is where all compasses point to, because the Earth's electromagnetic field and all this energy centers at this point. It's the strongest point. South is anywhere that goes opposite from the center. So if you walk this way, that is south, and that is south, and that is south. West is when you go left around the magnetic pole. This is anti-clockwise. If you were here and started walking west, you would end up in the exact same spot. East is the clockwise turn around the center axis. So if you were here and walked east, you would end up in the exact same position. With that being said, east is the right turn, left is the west turn. They always show the ladder to the east. Why? Because the ladder is your spine, and the east means the right, which is the right hemisphere of your brain. In short, the right hemisphere produces a holistic view of reality. So this sees humanity as one unified consciousness. The left hemisphere breaks this down into individuals. This sees the trees, this sees the whole woods. So when Jesus says, cast the net onto the right hand side of the boat and you will find fish, this represents cast your awareness into the right hemisphere and you will see the unification of the universe. You will see the higher self. This is the higher self. This is the ego. You will realize everything is connected and everything is all one. The real university will be open soon.
I'm going to answer a question that I get quite a bit, which is, are Freemasons, do they know that the earth is flat? Are we told that the earth is flat? How many Freemasons know that the earth is flat? Written by Albert Pike. This book I was given after becoming a 32nd degree Freemason. So let's just see what is written in Morals and Dogma. In the first chapter, as it relates to the square. It says, the square is a right angle formed by two right lines. It is adapted only to a plane surface and belongs only to geometry, earth measurement, and trigonometry, which deals only with planes and with the earth, which the ancients supposed to be a plane. The square is for plane measurement, okay? The ancients understood that the earth was a plane, fixed, immovable, set upon.
Where are we? Satan's penthouse in the middle of Washington, D.C. At Freemason headquarters. One day when the smoke clears, people always find a way of saying like, oh, secret societies. Oh my gosh, Illuminati. Oh my gosh, Freemasons. Yeah, of course there are. It's always been that way. That doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. For now it is. The whole point is, as we go about our day and our business, there's other people secretly at work seeking to devour and destroy. Why? Because we have an enemy seeking to devour and destroy. What is our enemy doing? He's working through people. He has people everywhere, just like God has people. The enemy has people. If you're not inside the secret society, you can't effectuate change, but you can on the outside. God can effectuate change. But that's only if you have enough faith to see that your prayer actually matters, that praying things into existence actually matters.